Thank you so much for having us here to share a little bit about what we're working on, specifically in the area of telepresence robots. You see Ava on stage, so there'll be no big reveal in the end when it's walking into the space. Ava's most of the time not on stage, so I'll talk a little bit about the idea behind Ava, but also some of the applications, some of the success stories with early customers deploying Ava, and give you an insight into the future. What are we looking to do based on what we have today? A little bit of background about the company before we talk about the ideas. Ava Robotics is a spin-off of iRobot. So the ideas that we're sharing today, that we're working on, started as an R&D project at iRobot many years ago. My co-founder and I were there for a few years to grow a business and deliver applications for commercial spaces. And we had the opportunity to spin off the business a couple of years ago and lead this as an independent company. So it gives us the freedom to explore working with our customers to bring these products to market. The ambitious word we use for what we're trying to do is practical teleportation. What we're trying to say is not only we do the video conferencing that we're all used to today, but we also enable moving around and letting the person who's the remote user, be it a visitor, a remote employee, to simply choose where they want to be and, as close as technology can deliver, materialize where they want to be for a meeting, for a site visit, and then be able to walk around with the people who are there, as if they were there. It's a very immersive experience that we're working on. The next generation product that we're showing today was delivered last year. So we were at several customer sites, large companies, typically some hotels, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But before we get into the demo, which is what I want definitely to show you today, let me talk about the ideas and where they come from. Personally, I started my career at Polycom. So right out of college, I went to work at Polycom, got involved in products around video conferencing for conference rooms, desktop applications. And the challenges those days, it is about 15 years ago, were very much about solving the human connection from one side to the next. So how can we convey body language? How can we convey an experience of being sitting across the table from the person on the other side? So as I worked through that, and my co-founder also has a Polycom background, we were working through challenges in usability, challenges in camera placement, challenges in terms of audio, how do you capture the audio and have that be very personal. So those are some of the products that we worked on in the past, from the desktop all the way, you remember the immersive conference rooms that were popular some 7, 8 years ago, in which you sat across the table from real size, high definition. And I will tell you, it was really shocking to me to be in one of those rooms on the right, sitting across the table from someone, and there was a customer, I think in Australia, if I'm not mistaken, so stayed late at night. The customer walks into the room, and they sat down across the table from me. And I said, "Good morning, how are you?" And they were looking around and just not reacting to me. It was really shocking to see how all that setup did not deliver a true face-to-face experience. So fast forward a few years as we got into the opportunity to go work at iRobot, the vision was very clear. The vision is the combination of video conferencing and robotics can deliver an immersive experience of being somewhere else that is just not possible with static devices that don't move. So the idea behind Ava is to deliver not only a high-quality experience in terms of video and audio, but the physical presence that works both ways, for the remote user to be immersed and move around the space, but to us, the local users, to be able to see in a physical presence of Dennis. Welcome, Dennis.
Thank you, Marcio. How's it going?
Doing great. So the idea is that Dennis is here with us, and I'll interact a little bit with him. This is on stage, so it's a little bit contrived, perhaps, so pardon me that experience. Dennis is at our office up in Cambridge, it's about 10 miles away. So how are you doing, Dennis?
Doing great, doing great. And I hope you guys are all having a good time at the summit.
Perfect, yeah. So what Dennis has here is he's in front of a setup, a screen with a control. He probably has an iPad as a control. He could be using just a web browser, could be using an iPhone, whatever experience that the remote user has. And Dennis has several degrees of freedom. So not only you choose where you want to start, and it comes here, you saw Dennis stand up. It's very important that we're always at eye level. So if I'm seated, you don't want to be standing next to me for an hour session and vice versa. Dennis, what else? Show us a little bit of your degrees of freedom here.
Yeah, so I have obviously you saw me drive over, so I've got the ability to move around the space. I can rotate, to look at the crowd, look at Marcio. I've got the ability to tilt the camera up and down if I want to look at something higher or lower, or focus on, for example, the presentation screens down here. I've got the ability to zoom. And one thing that you probably can't see here is I also have some cameras for peripheral awareness on the side. So if I need to see kind of what's on the side of me, I can see, for example, Marcio's hands out there, just to get a better sense of the space around me if needed.
Perfect, thank you. So again, all these degrees of freedom in terms of, feel free to move a little bit, Dennis, are available to the remote user as simple controls, both as manual controls as well as abstractions of the command. So for example, if Dennis wants to step out of the meeting room, he can just click on a button and the Ava will step out of the meeting room. He won't need to drive it out. So he's just executing commands. The robot executes these intent commands that the user has without forcing the user to drive around. But of course, if Dennis is moving close to me, the robot has sensors. It will see me. It won't bump into me. It will see the edge of the stage, and it will not fall off the stage. So that does limit our ability here to get exciting and see if Dennis can jump off the stage. It will not allow Dennis to jump off the stage. Dennis is a mechanical engineer, so he'd love to see that happen, I'm sure. So that's the idea. So the user is present. The user moves around. Applications involve arriving at a table in a conference room and sitting around, stepping up to present, turn your body completely, look at the presentation, and all those commands that the remote users executing not only give them a very immersive experience into the space, give us a sense of body language, of intent of communication that is just not possible when Dennis comes in a different format that is not under his control. Thank you very much, Dennis. I think this is a good demo.
Absolutely, thank you.
And I think you will join us at the rooftop later?
I will. I'll
Okay, so you guys can come talk to Dennis at the rooftop and test out if he really can see to the sides and all the things he told you he can see. You can ask him to show you that. All right, thanks, Dennis.
Thanks, Marcio.
So to give you a flavor of a couple of applications, again, we're mostly in corporate environments. This is not a product for the home, therefore we're not part of iRobot anymore. The vacuum cleaner was not a great companion for a product line. MIT uses it for executive education. It's a program they use for both remote work, to be able to attend and be in the administrative offices of the Sloan Executive Education, as well as a mobility project where people who cannot attend executive training, cannot fly to Cambridge, they're able to use Ava and attend full-day sessions, sit at the table. If you have ever attended one of those sessions, you sit at the table, you collaborate with colleagues, you step up, you present, you go to breakout rooms. So all that presence is available to people who can't fly to Cambridge. In Hilton hotels, it's used both in meetings. People can attend meetings at a distance. If they can't make the flight for a conference like this one, they would come and attend it, as well as site visits. Meeting planners, before they even book a space like this, they can visit, they can choose which rooms they're going to participate, and at the same time interact with the people who are going to support their event when the event's there. So a whole range of applications are being used by corporate customers today. Moving in terms of next steps, we clearly have a vision. I think you saw in the original slide, our vision is robots doing multiple things over time. So the level of intelligence that the robots need to have does need to grow. So today with Ava, when Dennis chooses to go somewhere, Ava will take Dennis there. There's no problem. We will avoid obstacles. We'll get there so you don't have to drive. We'll step into the room, outside of the room. We're working on technologies that Ava will understand the space and be able to move within that space intelligently without the remote user having to even think about doing something. For example, let's say I'm attending a conference and I see people at a distance and I just want to approach a group of people to interact with them. I'll have assistance from the robot to let me just make that move without having to command the robot, without having to drive. So the level of intelligence will allow us to grow all sorts of applications in the vision. So experts sharing knowledge anytime, anywhere is an application we'll continue to explore. We do see a lot of robotics and AI as augmentation of that experience. So things that Dennis can do today in visiting here are great for face-to-face. but depending on the job that he has to do at a given site, we're able to collect data from the environment and help him understand the space even better and help him do his job a lot better. So that's part of the roadmap. You know, obviously, we wouldn't be in this business if we didn't believe very strongly that in a few years from now, many of you will have these robots at different locations, and you'll be able to go wherever you want to go within your enterprise for site visits, for collaboration, without having to necessarily drive that robot around. So the vision is very, very clear from our perspective. You just choose where you want to be. It could be on the second floor, the first floor of a building. There will be an Ava there to take you to have that experience, and these will be very commonplace. And I know a couple of presenters today alluded to that as well, that they're already using it and envisioning applications for it. So hope that gives you a quick sense of the applications that we're going after. Again, Ava will be available up in the rooftop. Dennis will be there to show you some things. He can show you the interface that he has. And I can do demos from my phone as well if you want to see that. So thank you very much, and look forward to talking to you later.